SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk here on Sports Talk Media Network on this football Thursday night here in South Carolina. We are on the road at Coastal Carolina University, set to kick things off tonight between the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers and those hairy Bulldogs from Charleston, also known as the Citadel Bulldogs. Looking forward to it. Of course, Coastal, the big favorite in this one as a top 25 ranked FBS team, and the Citadel trying to bounce back from, well, an overall tough season because they played games in the fall and games in the spring. They played a full 12-game schedule, so they've had a lot of football on their legs. But after visiting there last week and visiting here last week, they're ready to play. Both teams are ready to go, and we'll see. We're going to see a lot of option-style football from both of these teams, different style, spread option by Coastal Carolina, triple option, true option from the Citadel. Citadel has a new quarterback who they broke in the spring, and they do have some good, talented players. Willie Eubanks, their linebacker, will be one of the best linebackers you'll see this season. And, of course, Coastal Carolina is just loaded with talent. So we're looking forward to seeing this game that'll kick off tonight at 7 o'clock. It'll be streamed on your ESPN Plus channels, I believe, tonight.
Yes,
is that right?
that
ESPN
is correct.
Plus. Chris Bergen, part of the Chanticleer broadcast team, is alongside. We're broadcasting from the baseball press box just across the parking lot from the stadium. It's good to have Chris with us here for the first half hour. Chalk Talk tonight. Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson return at 6:35. Mike Morgan on the move at 7:05. And your phone calls throughout. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk tonight. Right off the bat, let's touch on Clemson before you dive into Coastal Carolina. I know a lot of concern among Clemson fans about which Tiger players are going to be healthy for Saturday's game at Georgia. Checking today with a very reliable source who did not have what he would call greatest source information, but he feels like from what he's been told that everybody that is good to go, in other words, not out with an extended type of injury, right now is good to go. I know a lot of question about Tyler Davis. I'm told it's I hate to say this for complete fact because I don't know, but I'm told it's possible he had a COVID test today and it was negative. And if he has a COVID test tomorrow, which he likely will, and it's negative, then this person said he's expected to play on Saturday. So, again, that's unofficial, and I'm not hanging my hat on that totally, but I think that's encouraging news for the Tigers. And we'll see what happens coming out of Georgia because their athletic trainer for the football team came down with COVID. You wonder if it's spread any to the members of that team. Let me remind you on this Thursday night, if you lose us on the airwaves for whatever reason and you want to stay with us here on Sports Talk, you can get us on our stream on Twitter, our stream on YouTube, and our stream on Facebook, okay? And also, of course, if you just want the audio portion of the show to stream that, go to our website and click on the link where it says listen to the Sports Talk stream and click on that, and you'll have us in case you lose us and you want to stay with us. All right, Chris, I know you've been breaking down the film and going over all the notes for weeks leading up to this game.
You give me way too much credit, my friend, for my job.
I expect you to be well prepared as the sideline announcer for the Chanticleer Sports Network. I expect you to be prepared for anything that'll happen. So what do you see in tonight's game?
Well, it's interesting. First off, this is only the third meeting between these two teams in their program's history. Now, Coastal's obviously a lot shorter, did not start football. This will be their 19th season of football starting tonight. They've only played twice prior, and it was when Coastal was in the FCS. Played a game in 2014 down in Charleston, a game that the Chanticleers won by, I believe, 2 scores. And then the game that set the record for combined total offense between two teams here in 2015. in the FCS playoffs. The interesting part about that, Citadel kicked a field goal to beat Coastal in the opening round of the playoffs. That was the same year that the Citadel was coming off the win and upset at South Carolina. They come here to Coastal and win in the first round of the playoffs, only to go back home, so to speak, to face Charleston Southern. And who's coaching Charleston Southern at the time? It's Jamie Chadwell, who's the current now head coach here at Coastal. So these two programs have a lot of history, albeit relatively short history. Key stats to keep in mind for the Citadel. The one advantage they have, Phil, is that triple option, because so few teams run that. And what you want to do is catch a team that has not had ample time to get ready. The problem is Coastal has had the entire offseason preparing for Citadel's run-oriented attack, and Coastal returns maybe the most veteran defensive unit perhaps in the country. They bring back 10 starters who have combined to have 200 starts between those 10 players. Phil, they're not going to be surprised at all by anything they see tonight, and I think it's going to be extremely difficult. The Citadel, last time they were here, rushed for over 500 yards against Coastal. I don't think they're going to get anywhere close to that number against Chad Staggs and his defensive unit tonight.
Well, listen, if you're Coastal Carolina, you're opening up the season, and you got to respect everybody. Yeah, this is an in-state team. It's an old rival from the FCS days. Now you've moved up, but you're not that far removed from your FCS days. And listen, Jamie Chadwell, he remembers what it was like being an FCS coach and playing up and playing the bigger teams. He knows they're going to get everything that the Citadel has in their back pocket. They're going to throw everything at them. And the Citadel has a knack for making it really tough on you with their triple option. And like Brent Venables likes to say at Clemson in defending the triple option every year against Georgia Tech, every defensive player has to do their assignment on every play. If one guy takes a play off, that's when they break a big play against you. You give a team like the Citadel some early momentum and some early confidence, and then you let them hang around into the second half. That's what happened in Columbia a few years ago. You let them hang around in the second half, and you got a real problem on your hands.
Well, it goes twofold. First, you have given the Citadel confidence that they can come in here to Conway and get the win. And then on the flip side, you've got the Coastal players wondering, oh, gosh, we don't want to lose this game to open the season coming off what we did last year. So the one thing interesting, too, you mentioned two separate styles of option offense. Jamie Chadwell's bunch averages about time of possession somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 38 minutes a ball game. They can play keep away from the Citadel just as well as the Citadel can tonight against Coastal. I would anticipate if you've got early plans for in the morning, you might be able to stay up and watch this entire ball game, because I don't know it's going to take that long to get through this game tonight, Phil, because you have two very good run-oriented teams. Now, Coastal will feature the passing attack as well they should, with Grayson McCall returning the Sunbelt Player of the Year last year, and two outstanding wide receivers, tight end / with regards to Isaiah Likely and also Javon Hiley. They'll throw the football, but their bread and butter is still running the football with their backs and also having Grayson McCall run it on occasion.
All right, our phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Did you know that since 2002, more than $999 million in lottery proceeds have been used to support K-12 programs in South Carolina? Learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at sceducation.com/education wins, and playing for fun is a win for education. Coming up, Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson. We do some chalk talk with them. We'll talk about South Carolina and Eastern Illinois, Clemson and Georgia, some of the other games around the state as well. And, of course, they'll take a look at this game, too. This will be a game close to the heart of Ellis Johnson, a former Bulldog himself, so I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say about that. And we've got more college football, of course, cranking up tonight around the country. Got an SEC team in action tonight. So it's really going to start to heat up here, beginning with this game tonight here in Conway and then moving throughout the country. This is what we've been waiting on.
And don't forget about the Duke's Mayo Classic, the appetizer, if you will. And I think that may be an affront to both Appalachian State and East Carolina playing tonight in Charlotte. juxtaposed with Clemson and Georgia on Saturday. But Phil, I was talking to some of the guys in the press box on my broadcast team, Joe Cash and Elaine Harris, and they were all saying the same thing. If Coastal weren't playing tonight, that's the game we want to watch. Obviously, Coastal's got a keen eye on what Appalachian State does, being picked co-favorites in the Sun Belt East Division standings in the preseason with the Mountaineers. And Gamecock fans might want to keep an eye on what East Carolina does tonight. App's about a 10-point favorite in that ball game, so be interested to see how that one plays out. I think that has a chance, Phil, to be one of the more sneaky good games in the first week of the season.
All right, you've got in the ACC tonight, you've got NC State at home opening up against USF. So Jeff Scott headed to Raleigh, and NC State, they feel pretty good about their team this year. They want to get off to a good, solid start. They want to be impressive in their opening game of the season tonight. In the SEC tonight, it's the new regime at Tennessee. Josh Heupel making their debut tonight. Bowling Green, which was 0-5 last year. Tennessee was 3-7. You know, they want to get off to a good start on the SEC network and show some life and show some offense. And keep an eye on the Hyatt kid out of Columbia from Dutch Fork, wide receiver for Tennessee. They expect him to have a big season. I would imagine he'll have a big game tonight against Bowling Green. I look for Tennessee with their new quarterback, Joe Milton, I think it is the guy running things for them. I expect them to have a big night offensively against Bowling Green. South Carolina getting ready for Eastern Illinois on Saturday night in Columbia. Excitement level very high for that, even though the Gamecocks are 43-point favorites in that one. If you can find that line, I found it last night. So there is a 43-point line in favor of the Gamecocks against a team that's already played a game, went to Indiana State, played them to a 5-point game.
I'd have to say, just because we don't know anything about what USC is going to bring to the table, Phil, that is a huge number to have to cover if you're the Gamecocks. Obviously, Vegas doesn't do this stuff for their health. They feel like South Carolina can blow them off the field in convincing fashion, but still having to cover 44 points, that's a lot against anybody, albeit an FCS program. If I were to put some coin, and for entertainment purposes only, I might be inclined to put a few nickels on Eastern Illinois just to keep it. It's 40 points close. That's a lot, big number to cover. And I don't see Shane Beamer going out if they're up by 4 touchdowns going into the fourth quarter, trying to pile it on at that point in time.
Well, I'm like you, and especially with the change at quarterback, we just don't know what they're going to get out of Nolan and how much they want to throw the football. I think they're going to really rely on their running game and pound it. And why wouldn't you run behind that offensive line? That will shorten the game. And if they have some long sustained drives, reduce the number of opportunities they have. 43 points. I'm with you. I think 43 points, I think 43 points is a lot to ask for from this Gamecock football team, first time out of the gate, till we see exactly what they've got.
I'm trying to think back to the last time South Carolina beat someone that badly. Would it have actually been when they played Coastal?
When Coastal was still FCS level and getting ready for the playoffs, and the Chanticleers went to Columbia and lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 70-10. I think that game was such a lopsided affair. It didn't bother Coastal a bit because they didn't want to get anybody hurt. That was their whole MO. Let's get into this game and get out, make sure the check doesn't bounce when we get back to Conway. I just don't remember South Carolina rolling through a team recently of 6 touchdowns. I don't care who it was.
Yeah, that's just because they haven't had that kind of offense in recent years.
All right, let's hit our break here on Sports Talk, and we'll come back and we can take your phone calls. What do you think about tonight's game? If you're a Citadel fan listening to us down in Charleston or across the state, if you're a Coastal fan listening to us here in the Grand Strand area or across the state, your take on tonight's game, your thoughts on Clemson, Georgia, South Carolina, and Eastern Illinois. Can the Gamecocks cover a 43-point spread? That's a lot of offense they'll need to come up with. We'll hit the break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
One weekend, 2 football games, unlimited mayonnaise. Get ready for the Duke's Mayo Classic doubleheader this Labor Day weekend. Georgia battles Clemson in one of the most anticipated Week 1 college football matchups of all time.
Do you have the StreamYard up or something? I'm getting an echo.
live.
some-
2 can't-miss games at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Learn more about tickets and other events, including
Who's that?
performances by Ingrid Andrews and
I am muted on the StreamYard, yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm not like
Wait a
some
minute.
whoop-de-doo executive chef.
Wait
You
a
know,
minute.
I
In
consider
my
myself
headset,
more
yeah.
of a baker.
Yeah, I'm
than a
muted.
chef.
I'm muted here on StreamYard.
I like working with my hands. I like
Actually,
turning
forgot
regular
my
ingredients into
Bluetooth
like something spectacular.
headphones, so I can't pull up StreamYard without it echoing through
The
my
South
phone.
Carolina Education Lottery has
So I don't
funded
even
over
have StreamYard up.
450,000 life scholarships in our state, giving countless students a chance to answer their calling, just like
It's
Aaron.
weird. I actually
Your
am getting
passion
the echo
is
when I
our
talk, but when
purpose.
Phil talks, it's crystal clear.
Your home is where
Same
your
here.
memories live.
I'm not
It's
getting
where
the
you
echo.
laugh.
When
and
you
where
talk,
love.
it's crystal clear.
We
It's on.
understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible
Maybe a
and
local
intangible
situation
alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly
He
70
did.
years.
I think
You
he did.
deserve more.
They were doing
You
something.
deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174.
I don't know. You'll have to text him. Yeah, I don't know. Every time, all I know is every time an engineer messes with something, something is messed up.
Stay tuned.
He might
More
fix one
Sports
thing,
Talk
but
is
something
coming
else
up
is messed
on the
up.
Sports Talk Media Network.
Self-security. Fix one thing, break something.
Save like
There's
a
an
pro
echo.
with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders Loyalty Select account gives you the opportunity to grow your savings at our best rate yet. Fund your account through your favorite Loyalty Select product to get savings today. Not
Oh, wait a
another
minute.
day.
I've got two
Visit
StreamYards going here. Okay.
RelaxJoinFounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccines. For help finding a vaccine location in your area, visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110. COVID-19 vaccines are free and don't require ID or insurance. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110 to find a vaccine location near you.
We are back on Sports Talk Media Network here on this Thursday night. We're at Coastal Carolina, Chanticleers, and the Citadel Bulldogs going to kick it off at 7 o'clock on what's turned out to be a beautiful afternoon. Temperature is not too bad, mid-80s, I would say right now. Well, I'm stealing from you. You should be doing the game conditions, Mr. Broadcaster.
Actually, I'm not allowed to do that because we actually have a sponsor on the network. I think it's WBTW, the local CBS affiliate. They sponsor the weathercast that Joe actually reads right before kickoff. So, but yeah, earlier in the week, I was thinking, first couple of games, there's a professional side of me and also a comfortable side of me. I've normally liked to wear shorts the first couple of weeks, just quite frankly, because it's too hot on the field. But yeah, it's going to be nice tonight. Very low humidity down here along the Grand Strand. So I've actually brought out the slacks, and it'll be one of the rare times that you get to see Phil and I both in caps. I hardly ever wear a hat, but I do wear a visor, much like the old Steve Spurrier days while I'm on the sidelines.
But you are decked out in your Chanticleer teal, I see.
Yes, I am.
As part of the team. Well,
as desperate as they are, I'd be a part of the team. Trust me, I've learned real fast. Get away from those guys who also wear this uniform. I don't get anywhere close to them on the sidelines, but it is a lot of fun.
So, as far as your positioning on the sideline, where do you like to watch the game from so you can deliver the most insightful information?
I usually try my best to be behind the defense, looking back down the field at the offense coming towards me. Mm-hmm. That way you sort of get a wide perspective. Fans always who have never watched a football game from the field don't understand. It's the worst spot on the field in the stadium to watch a football game because you just can't see things develop. That's the best angle, though, if you sit in the end zone or off to the side along the I'll be on the coastal sideline, but usually I try and get as far away from the team bench and then look back at the field. So I'm 30 or 40 yards down the field in the defensive secondary because that gives you, I think, the best vantage point. Of course, when that happens, we'll have a close marker for first down, and the guys will come downstairs. All right, Chris, what do you think? Is it close enough? So I have to hustle 40 yards back down the field to make sure I can get to the spot, and that has happened on more than one occasion.
But they don't let you call field goals.
They do not.
Yeah.
which is probably good for them. Actually, they have a better vantage point again, being upstairs, because you can see it in a whole lot better. So I will normally go down there just in case. I'll be underneath the goalpost just in case it's a bad snap that causes the kick to be missed. How close was it to the uprights? You can't necessarily see that from the press box. So you can add a little bit from down on the field, but for the most part, I let Joe and Lane handle the stuff upstairs with regards to field goals.
All right, let me remind people of a couple of things. Phone number 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. And if you are a football fan, I know primarily a Clemson fan, but you don't have to be a Clemson fan for this. I mean, everybody who is a non-Clemson fan probably has a Clemson fan in the family or in the circle of friends, and you want to give them a nice gift for the holiday season maybe coming up. Or if you are a Clemson fan, we are giving away a Trevor Lawrence collectible football. You might remember back when Clemson was going into the playoffs, we had our man from Chicago on with us promoting a charity and his company, Nico Sports.
Yes.
And they sell these things, and they sell a lot of them, and they give us some to give away. And so we're giving one away. It's a great football.
Yeah, it's really cool. You can sit up on our Twitter page.
I gave one to Pat since, he likes the Tigers, so I want him to feel good. And all we're asking for is give us the total number of points to be scored in the Clemson-Georgia game on Saturday night in the Dukes Mayo Classic on September 4th. And closest to it will win. If we have a tie or multiple ties, we'll break it with a blind draw on Sports Talk. All you have to do is just email it to our email address for Sports Talk, which is sportstalkcontest@gmail.com. sportstalkcontest@gmail.com, and that'll get your guess into the competition, and we'll see what happens from there. But it's a really cool football that we're giving away here on Sports Talk. The poll question of the week also is about that Clemson-Georgia game. Clemson is a 3-point favorite, and what's the smart play? Pretty tight thinking. 306 votes. 52.3% say Georgia take the points, and 47.7% say Clemson and lay the points. Now, one thing.
And that's actually a big shift from earlier in the week, because it was Clemson and lay the points ahead of Georgia and take the points earlier in the week. That has changed here in the last couple of days.
Oh, okay. But here's the interesting thing that was going through my mind. Let's just say that Tyler Davis can't play. Let's just say that Fred Davis is on suspension or is not going to be played. And what about Malcolm Green? He was the other driver, even though he wasn't charged with anything. I'm sure Dabo Swinney wasn't happy with his involvement. What if he is being held out? And I'm just speculating here. I don't know anything. I'm just talking out loud. There may be nothing like that going on. But if all that's the case, you're talking about three key defenders that would be on the sideline. Nolan Turner, I'm told, is fine. There was some talk about his.
There was a report yesterday that he is banged up and may miss the game.
Yeah, I'm told he practiced yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And so we'll see on that. But, I mean, that could change everything. You lose players like that, especially right up the middle, where I think this game is going to be won right there with whichever team controls the running game of the other. And then whichever quarterback has the better night, with their receivers, I think it's going to be the team that wins it. I think there'll be enough defense play to keep the points down. So can Uiagalelei outplay JT Daniels? Can Clemson's receivers outplay Georgia's secondary? Georgia, they lost a great deal off that defense. It's a rebuilt defense. It's a rebuilt secondary with a number of transfers and all. We know Darion Kendrick is a proven commodity. If he wants to play, if he's got his mind right, he'll be tough for whoever he's on. He'll be tough to shake.
And I would assume if there is any game he is looking forward to being as sharp as possible, it would be Saturday, getting an opportunity. I don't know that revenge or getting back at his former school. It just didn't work out for him at Clemson. and he's got another opportunity at Georgia. But you would think he's got a pretty good idea, having gone head-to-head with those wide receivers, what they bring to the table more so than anybody else in Georgia's defensive secondary. So you're right. He's going to present some problems, I would think, as a matchup.
Yeah, you would think he would know every move of that Justin Ross can throw at him. That's going to be an intriguing matchup, to say the least. Okay, after the break, we'll get. Oh, you're going to let you go.
I am headed to work at my second job.
Enjoy your broadcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
We'll be listening. After the break, time for some chalk talk. We'll get some real football knowledge from Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson here on Sports Talk.
Are you worn out from wall-to-wall political talk? Instead of hearing more about the stuff in Washington that's mostly out of your control, I'll give you the tools to actually take control of your money and your life. Dave Ramsey here. Join me right here on The Point. I'm live and taking your calls weekdays at 2 p.m. I'll teach you how to get on a written plan that actually works, get out of debt, and build wealth. Weekdays at 2 p.m. The Dave Ramsey Show at 100.7 The Point.
Is that crack in your windshield or your house bothering you?
Have you been meaning to have it replaced but just can't find the time?
Call Absolute Glass, voted Lexington's best glass shop for 12 years in a row.
We repair and replace glass on all makes and models.
We're the only local high-end auto glass specialist in the Midlands, and we'll come to you to make the process quick and easy.
With new technologies and vehicles, we can recalibrate your vehicle back to new.
Visit AbsoluteGlassInc.com to learn more about our auto, home, and business glass services. Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. 3 people have died in suburban New York City from the remnants of Hurricane Ida as the death toll from the record-setting downpour continued to rise. The victims in Westchester County include at least 1 motorist caught on the road in rapidly rising water. County Executive George Latimer says more than 200 cars remained abandoned on roadways Thursday. Also, the National Weather Service in Mount Holly, New Jersey, has confirmed 6 tornadoes in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. A good day on Wall Street as the Dow is up by 131 points, the Nasdaq rising by 21, with the S&P 500 advancing 12. Oil up $1.40 to $69.99 a barrel. More details at srnnews.com.
So your home is your castle. I work hard all day. My reward is time at my home with my family, living comfortably. I don't want to worry for a moment about bugs and pests. I've had Palmetto Exterminators taking care of my home for 19 years. Now, that's a long time without worrying about pest control or infestation or termites, and that's because Palmetto Exterminators takes care of it all. Might not matter to some people, but you know what it does to me? They're family-owned. They've been doing this the right way for over 60 years. The staff is courteous. They're clean. They're totally professional. And you know, it's termite season. Palmetto Exterminators offers a free inspection. They'll customize the program to fit your needs and your family's budget. They offer a lifetime warranty with their termite agreement. Now, I speak from experience. Like I said, 19 years with the same company. I can't give a more glowing recommendation than the one I proudly give to Palmetto Exterminators. Online, palmettoexterminators.net, or call my guy, Ron Byers, 254-5833. That's 254-5833, Palmetto Exterminators.
Hi, this is Marsha Klayman.
And I'm Karen Pickard. We're your hosts for the Positive Point on Aging.
We'll talk about aging gracefully and senior care every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m.
Join us right here on The Point for the Positive Point on Aging.
Brought to you by Oakley Village of Lexington.
Hi, this is Michelle Arnold, your host for Travel Buzz, every Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 100.7 The Point. We're here to make your travel dreams a reality. That's Travel Buzz every Monday morning at 9 on The Point.
Fran Halloran here. What am I looking for when I make a recommendation to you? I'm looking for integrity, ethics, intentionality. When it comes to your mortgage needs, Greg McCoy from Simplified Mortgage Solutions needs to be your only call. There are plenty of national mortgage companies with fancy names and fancy schemes out there. Don't be fooled. Simplified Mortgage Solutions will meet or beat any national lender's proposal. Greg is local, and I love local. Born and raised in the Midlands of South Carolina, Greg will treat you as if you are his only client as you go through the mortgage process. Simplified Mortgage Solutions specializes in conventional, VA, USDA, and FHA mortgages. They can do it all. I trust them, and so can you. I've worked with Greg for a while now, and everyone I've referred to him has thanked me after the fact. Online at simplifiedmortgagesc.com or just call Simplified Mortgage Solutions at 803-722-6044. That's 803-722-6044 and tell them the Money Coach sent you.
Oh man, storm's coming. I need to be prepared. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. All right, here's the Dominion Energy app with Face ID, and I am ready to go. That's right, folks. If those South Carolina storms hit, the new Dominion Energy mobile app is a must-have. So easy to use and convenient to have around. It's not just for power outages. With this app, you have instant access to all of your energy usage, too. Pretty cool stuff. Take it from me. Be prepared this season and download it today.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network from Coastal Carolina. Tonight, it's Coastal Carolina and the Citadel about a half hour away. And I tell you what, you can just, even though it's FBS versus FCS, it's the first game of the season. It's the first opportunity for fans to come in and fill up a stadium here at Coastal Carolina. And you can hear the fan buzz outside. Every so often, certain games will bring you that kind of a fan buzz. And I can hear it up here in the baseball press box. So these fans at Coastal Carolina don't know how big the crowd will be, but they are excited about this game tonight. A chance to see their nationally ranked Chanticleers take on those Citadel Bulldogs that never say die Citadel Bulldogs. Speaking of, let's welcome in for the initial edition of Chalk Talk for this season here on Sports Talk. We welcome in a former Citadel Bulldog himself, Coach Ellis Johnson, and a former Appalachian State Mountaineer. That's right. Coach Chuck Reedy. Good to have the two of you. Ellis, let's begin with you since your dogs are on display tonight. What kind of game are you expecting?
Well, I'm trying to not talk with my heart, talk with my head. I'm a little concerned of the Citadel not only would be an underdog in this game, but they've had 2 or 3 unfortunate injuries and one other situation that I think the captain of the team was dismissed. So they've not had the greatest preseason in the world. That being said, I mean, they'll play hard. The wishbone, I doubt if it'll give Coastal very much trouble because the defensive coordinator there, Chad Staggs, used to be with us in Carolina. He coordinated Charleston Southern, and he's had to go against Wofford and the Citadel many times before, and he knows what he's doing. So I think it's going to be a tough ball game, and hopefully they can play well. If they can pull an upset, that'd be great. But I think it can be a really good game to get them off on a good season.
Chuck, good to have you with us once again as well. This Coastal Carolina team, they were the darlings of the nation last year. One of them, I guess maybe Cincinnati was a darling of the nation too, the way their season turned out. But Coastal Carolina got a lot of publicity, a lot of network exposure. They lived up to it with a fabulous year. What do you think of the job Jamie Chadwell has done, is doing with this program, and how far can he take it?
Well, I'm a Jamie Chadwell fan now, and had a chance to spend a good bit of time with him this summer, actually. And I think they've got 19 starters back. Their schedule is very, they don't play Louisiana. They have a good chance. They got to get by Kansas. What I didn't realize, and what he was telling me, I thought Buffalo might be a tough game up there, but he said that, of course, the guy from Buffalo went to Kansas and said he took all their good players. So, so Kansas, they think Kansas is going to be a little better, but Kansas plays at Coastal. They got a good chance to go in the Appalachian National TV game undefeated, 6-0, and if they do that, if you get by them, they should run. They got a good chance to run the table, I should say, and have a chance. Just like last year. They got a chance to to play in a big bowl game.
Indeed. What is it that you like about Jamie and the way he runs his program?
Well, I like everything about what Jamie does, and he's a class act. I like offensively. He runs runs the option a little differently than what we did now, but he runs some option for them. They can run the football. And, and I tell you the other thing about him, he's a loyal guy. A lot of those guys on that staff, they've been with him. They've been with him, at North Greenville, at Charleston Southern. He's a guy that, he's loyal and he's just a good person. And like I said, I think an awful lot of him, and I think this will not be his last job. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, they'll have a hard time keeping him moving forward, but he seems happy at Coastal, and they're doing what they can do at their level to keep him happy. Ellis, let's switch gears and let's go to Clemson, Georgia, where I think you're looking at a game that's going to be dominated by two outstanding defenses, which is right up your alley. You're going to love it. I mean, do you see – can this be I've got Clemson winning 21-14. Am I selling short these offenses too much? Am I putting too much on these defenses?
Phil, I tend to think with the quarterbacks they have that they could score points on these other teams. What I don't know is I don't know a lot about their offensive lines, and that's going to be the key. If they give these quarterbacks time and play well up front on either side of the ball, I think you'll see more points than that. I think Georgia's had some very unfortunate injuries. I think one of them was a corner, one was a wideout. They cannot lose a lot of their targets at wideout because I think that's about the best way for them to attack Clemson. Clemson's front is so good. But I don't know. I think Georgia overall is probably a little better team. But although the quarterback has not gotten as many reps as Georgia's did last year, I think he's a little more talented. And that could be the difference in the game.
All right. Now, why do you think Georgia's the overall more talented team here?
I just like the team speed on defense. I think they're a little more versatile, if you will. And if they can protect the quarterback, Clemson's going to probably be very aggressive like they always are. And there's going to be some deep shots available out there. But I think the key is how well the two offensive lines play, because that's where the other people's strength is in the defensive front, both teams.
Chuck, your view, do you think Georgia is overall the better team?
Well, I don't know that, but I saw this the other day, read it somewhere. I could be wrong. Said that 19 out of their 22 starters were 5-star recruits. Now, if that's true, which now maybe probably 15 of Clemson's were as well, but Georgia has. And going along with what Ellis is saying, Georgia's offensive line is going to be better than Clemson's. I mean, they've recruited 5-star offensive linemen every year, and they're going to be better up front. They're going to run the ball better. The thing that I don't know, I think Clemson, lately, if that's, I don't know how you say his name anyway.
Good try.
He's going to make throws. Clemson's receivers are as good as anybody in the country, but what I don't know, and we're going to find out, is whether they can run the football. And I think Georgia they're going to challenge their offensive line, because again, they weren't very good last year, and we don't know if they're any better. They lost their best lineman, left early. Can they run the ball? And the thing here is they've got Lynn J. Dixon, who has been okay. But, he's never shown that he was a great running back. And what they don't have is Trevor Lawrence, who can make plays with his feet. I don't know if the quarterback, if DJ, if he can do that. I mean, he's going to stand in the pocket and he'll throw the ball as well as Trevor did, I think. I mean, you saw that last year. I mean, he can throw the football, but can he make plays with his feet? And that was the thing Clemson could do last year with Trevor. And if he can't, and Dixon, can't run the football, and Georgia's going to come after them, and they're going to defend the pass and say, hey, if you can't run the football, we're not going to let you throw it over our head either. And that, I think that's what Clemson's got to, they've got to show they can do that.
Chuck, can you remember the last time that Clemson went into a season without a clear-cut number one at running back? Are you a little surprised? Now, there's been a lot of talk about Will Shipley, the freshman, who's very, very fast. But Dabo said yesterday, I think it was, maybe the day before, that they're going to run a bunch of them out there. They don't really have that one guy that's going to maybe carry it 20, 25 times.
Yeah, that's a problem. If you've got a bunch of them, that means you don't have one that's really good. And but what I see, what I suspect, because you've heard it just like I have, they rave about Shipley. I could see a scenario very similar to the Trevor Lawrence 3 or 4 years ago. They're going to go with Lynn J. They're going to go with the veteran and maybe even Rencher, and they're going to go out there. And if they're not moving the football on the ground, you're going to see Shipley come in. And if he shows something and shows a spark, then 2 or 3 games from now, he'll be the guy. He'll be the starting running back. And I think it could be a very similar situation to when Trevor was a freshman.
Ellis, how do you think Georgia will approach Clemson's receivers? They've got Darion Kendrick back there now, the transfer from Clemson. You know what his talent is like. And as you've talked about, all those highly rated players, you think they'll try and man up the receivers and maybe put Kendrick on Ross because he knows him so well? How do you think they'll approach it?
I'm not sure who they'll match up with, but Phil, for the Carolina fans and Clemson fans who listen to this thing, they play a very similar basic philosophy that Will did here at Carolina. Press corners 70-80% of the time. They actually play the 3-deep zone with press corners if wideouts are split very wide. And then they have other matchups and so forth going on. That's going to be dangerous. But now like Chuck said, they recruit 5-star players. They're going to challenge them. I don't care how good they are. They're going to be up in their face a lot, playing with a middle field safety. Now, if they can't handle them, then I think you'd see them go to more 2 safeties over the top and that type of thing, especially, as Chuck said earlier, if Clemson can't run the ball effectively, then they probably would double them with cover 2s and other things you can do with 2 safeties. But they are really talented, but Georgia's going to challenge them first.
And you mentioned Will Muschamp. He will be on the sideline coaching for Georgia in a number of, special teams maybe, but I think he's also had input on the defensive side. What do you think his influence there on Georgia, especially on the defense, will be while he's there?
Well, I think he'll be a little bit of an influence, but I don't know if that's the exact word. They're not going to bend their defense and change it anything because of what Will says. Both Will and Kirby are products of Nick Saban, and they have a philosophy that's very similar to Coach Saban's, and then they've tweaked it and done what they believe in. But there are probably a lot of similarities when Will walked in the door. It's probably the kind of things he already believed in. Now, he can add some ideas and some expertise to it that I think would help him. But I don't think you'll see him tampering a lot with the coordinator or the head coach. Kirby does a tremendous amount of that defensive game planning for him.
All right, guys, hang on. We're going to hit a quick break and come back and talk about the Gamecocks. Gamecocks in Eastern Illinois, the debut of Shane Beamer. Are you on the Shane train? Have you seen the beam of light over Williams-Brice Stadium? It's welcome home. Even for you two guys, it's welcome home. It's love and affection and all for one for all for the Gamecocks. Trying to change that culture, I guess. We'll be back.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at ExperienceColumbiaSC.com.
The Southeastern Institute of Manufacturing and Technology, known as SIMT, is ready to meet your 3D printing, machining, and social media listening needs. Our list of clients includes business and industrial partners from around the state, the nation, and the globe. In addition, we are providing social media listening services to a variety of businesses and educational institutions, from large companies to law firms to small rural school districts. The SIMT also rents space for training, conferences, and trade shows. Catering services are available for events being held at the SIMT. We are dedicated to customer service and look forward to serving you. Check us out on the web at simt.com to see a full list of our manufacturing services, or give us a call at 843-413-2740.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
In Irmo, call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171.
About 10 minutes to go before kickoff here at Coastal Carolina between Coastal and the Citadel. We're in the middle of Chalk Talk with Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnston. Chuck, you give the Citadel any chance tonight against Coastal?
No.
Okay.
No. 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 I mean, like Ellis said, I mean, they're going to play hard, and you just hope you come out of the game without, not getting beat up too much, and then get back in, get into their regular schedule.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. You get right to the point. That's good. Let's talk about South Carolina. When I was at Clemson Tuesday, and if you walk around their athletic facilities, their football building, I've said this many, many times. I don't know that there's any place that's got more slogans and inspirational words written on walls than at Clemson. At every corner you turn, there's something. And I read this one thing on a wall there that said, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, you have to build the culture first before you have the success, which I think is what Shane Beamer is trying to do at South Carolina, since he's kind of starting over, trying to bring former players back in, trying to build a feeling of confidence and enthusiasm, the welcome home mantra, naming the student section the cockpit, though I think the whole stadium should be nicknamed the cockpit myself. Just things that they're doing internally to make everybody feel warm and fuzzy and all that. I know that doesn't mean anything, Chuck, when you get on the football field. That warm and fuzzy stuff gets knocked out real quick the first time somebody hits you. But you see where I'm going with this? You like what they're doing from the inside out here in the first several months of his regime?
Yeah, no, I think he's done a great job of being very positive and energizing the Carolina fans and all of that. Every coach that comes in, I've never heard one yet that didn't come in and say they were going to build the culture. So, that's not new. I mean, everybody's trying to build, the winning culture, and and he's done a great job so far. Now, unfortunately, now they got to go play, and culture is real good if you have good players. It isn't real good if you don't have good players, and so that's the problem that they're probably going to have.
Well, yeah, I mean, and what comes first, the culture or the winning? I mean, can you build the culture without the winning?
Well, I don't. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. I don't know I think they go together. I mean, yes, he has done a good job of being very positive, and that has, I think, contributed to success. Or improvement in recruiting, obviously. And all of that is great, and we're not going to find out anything Saturday night. We'll find out something the next week, because that is a huge trap game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whoever scheduled that should be fired. I don't know who did it, but to go play at East Carolina, I don't understand that, and that is, trust me, that is going to be a trap game that they'll get through this one, but that one's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. They're favored by 43. Ellis, can the Gamecocks score 43 points and shut out Eastern Illinois?
I don't know, Phil. I don't know much about Eastern Illinois this year at all. But I do think South Carolina, they will be a decent football team. I don't think they have a bad overall roster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's in the top echelons of the SEC, but I think they have a better than mediocre roster, except they've had so much, I guess uncertainty is the best word, at quarterback for the last 5 years. Sometimes they knew who he was going to be, but then he got hurt. Sometimes they didn't know which one it was going to be. But if you look at production at that one position for about the last 5 or 6 years, it's just you cannot win against really good football teams with that kind of play, especially on third down. Now, y'all were talking about the positive actions and reactions and comments and so forth. I think that was important because the program's been surrounded with negativity. I think Shane initially kept some coaches that Ray asked him to keep. They left. He replaced them with coaches that don't have nearly the track record. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes when you bring coaches who have been at some of the top 10 schools in America into that situation at Carolina, they've always finding something wrong. Every other day they got a bitch. Every other day they got to change something. Every other day there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that. And when you got that going on, you're not going to move forward. So I think he's got a bunch of coaches that also have caught on to the same mantra. They're trying to be positive. They're trying to be in the actions with the press and with the players. And I think that is important right now. Is it going to win football games? No. But you have got to have that atmosphere. If you're sitting there and every other scrimmage, you got about 30% of what comes out of your mouth is negative, I don't know how you think recruits are going to be excited about coming over to visit. So I think he's done the best job he can with a bad situation.
Yeah.
What's wrong over there? What's wrong over there is a lot more than Shane Baker. So I don't know if he's the answer. He damn sure ain't the problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So you talk about their roster. I mean, you being a defensive coach, you have to be impressed with their defensive front. I mean, I like to think their defensive front can stack up with most, if not all, of the best in the SEC. Am I overstating how good they are?
I think there are some individuals in that group that can, and I'm a little partial to it, but I think the system they're moving to is going to allow players to kind of play a little bit more up to their ability instead of into a process and a system. When you want to be a system guy like Nick Saban, you better be able to get the same kind of players he gets. If you want to play press man 75% of the game, you better be able to recruit 5-star corners at least every other year. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, match up with guys in the SEC, then you got to match up in recruiting, and that's going to be hard to do there. I don't think you can run a pure 3-4 as a base and also play a real good 4-man front with 5 or 6 DBs out there. You will never have enough good linemen that fit those two systems to do that. We felt like the way we were going to win at Carolina was get the greatest edge rushers we could find, get the best safeties we could find, big physical safeties. We played a higher percentage of zone than most people. We give up a lot of short passes, but we just believed we had to have speed on the field. And then if we had problems stopping the run, we just load up the box or run fire zones or something. You cannot recruit to two different systems in Carolina.
Ellis, with that kind of thinking, I'm just amazed that you're not running a defense somewhere this year. What is going on?
I am running a defense.
Where?
Over here in my TV. I lost a game in 5 years, Phil.
Man, you need to be on the sideline somewhere. Real quick, Chuck, what do you think of this, the game? He was a graduate assistant coach for a little while, but really he's a graduate transfer. The bottom line is he turned out to be a graduate transfer for South Carolina. This young man did some good things at Iowa State and North Dakota State. Don't you think he can step in? We're talking about Zeb Nolan. Don't you think he can step in and do some good things?
Yeah. Phil, Ellis nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. Didn't we have a graduate transfer last year from Colorado State?
Yeah,
I mean, they've got to get. Maybe it's Doty, but if it's not, you can't win in the SEC unless you got a quarterback that can make throws and can make plays. And I don't know anything about Zeb Nolan, I just suspect he's not that guy, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but no, Phil. I mean, he can get them through. He can get them through Illinois, but beyond that, I don't know. But until they recruit a quarterback that can, is an SEC caliber guy, they're going to have a hard time. I mean, and that's the bottom line.
Guys, fantastic. Great start to the season. We thank you so much, more than you'll ever know, because we're not paying you anything. But thank you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, and we'll be back.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. A group of Republicans have sent a letter to President Biden requesting more information about the Americans left behind in Afghanistan. Correspondent Bob Agnew reports.
The group of U.S. senators sent a letter to the president seeking what they call thorough and unclassified answers to questions surrounding those left behind in Afghanistan when the U.S. pulled out this week. The senators, led by Tom Cotton of Arkansas, specifically mentioned American citizens as well as green card holders and those eligible for SIVs, special immigrant visas. It's estimated between 100 and 200 American citizens who wanted to leave the country were left behind. Bob Agnew reporting.
Meanwhile, an international effort is underway to evacuate members of Afghanistan's girls' national soccer team and their families over fears of reprisal by the Taliban. Former U.S. women's national team captain Julie Foudy says she's confident Americans will rally to help the Afghanistan national girls' soccer team members.
I do think there are a lot of Americans who realize this is a moment where we could step in and actually do some great service to humanity and these women in this moment of dire need.
Mayor Bill de Blasio says at least 9 city residents have died as a result of the storm.
Families in mourning right now. We need to be there for them and for all the New Yorkers who right now are dealing with the results of this horrifying storm.
Officials said at least 10 people died in New Jersey and at least 5 in Pennsylvania, including one killed by a falling tree and another who drowned in his car after helping his wife to escape, that according to authorities. A Connecticut State Police sergeant perished after his cruiser was swept away. On Wall Street, the Dow by 131 points, the Nasdaq rose 21, the S&P advanced 12. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Tell me why Relief Factor is so successful in lowering or eliminating pain. I'm often asked that question. Pete and Seth Talbot, the father and son founders of Relief Factor, tell me they believe our bodies were designed to heal. The doctors who formulated Relief Factor selected the 4 best ingredients, 100% drug-free ingredients that each help your body deal with inflammation. Order the 3-week quick start now. Discount it to only $19.95 to see if it will work for you too. Call 800-500-8384. ReliefFactor.com.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think now, especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue, and Dynovite has helped tremendously in our house with that.
I just heard the Dynovite commercial so many times, I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
The Dynovite, the being at home, working with them, they all love it. Me and Chewy are together 24/7.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
DINOVITE.com.
The Coast Guard is investigating reports of possible oil spills in the Gulf of Mexico resulting from Hurricane Ida.
The Associated Press first reported the possible spills after reviewing aerial images taken by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They show a miles-long black and brown slick floating near a large rig with the name Enterprise Offshore Drilling painted on its helipad. The company says its Enterprise 205 rig was safely secured and evacuated prior to the storm's arrival and did not suffer any damage in the storm. But the Coast Guard is dispatching aircraft to investigate reports of a slick south of Port Fourchon, Louisiana. The Coast Guard spokesman says aircraft will also fly over a major oil refinery along the Mississippi River south of New Orleans after a report of a rainbow-colored sheen in the floodwaters there. Ben Thomas, Washington.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're clear and cool overnight with a low dipping to 62. Tomorrow, much like today, bright and sunny skies, low humidity, a high topping out at 85. For the game at Williams-Brice Saturday, few clouds, mild temps continue, a high of 86. And Sunday, we're a little warmer with a high of 89. No rain until maybe Monday or Tuesday. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, we are back with you on Sports Talk Media Network. We're at Coastal Carolina for Coastal and the Citadel. They're just getting underway in the stadium across the way from me here, across the parking lot. Ordinarily, we'd have Mike Morgan on the move tonight, but Morgan is on the move. He's on a plane heading to his location for this weekend's ball game that he is calling. To be honest with you, I don't remember which game he's calling. Pat, do you remember? I think he told us last week which one he's doing. Do you remember which game he's doing?
I don't actually. I don't offhand. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm just looking over the list of SEC games for the weekend, trying to figure out which one he is doing. I just don't remember which one he told us. But anyway, he is on the way to that, and he'll be with us next week. Speaking of SEC games this weekend, of course, tonight you've got Bowling Green and Tennessee. They'll kick off at 8 o'clock. And then Saturday, Louisiana Monroe at Kentucky, Rice at Arkansas, Alabama against Miami in Atlanta, Louisiana Tech and Mississippi State down in Starkville, Central Michigan at Mizzou, Akron at Auburn, Eastern Illinois at USC, Florida Atlantic at Florida, Georgia, Clemson, of course, in Charlotte, Kent State at Texas A&M, East Tennessee State at Vanderbilt, LSU at UCLA. And then on Monday, it's Ole Miss against Louisville in Atlanta. That's the opening weekend for SEC games. A mixture of blowouts and some quality matchups. Alabama, Miami. Of course, everybody I would think is taking Alabama, though Miami is with a healthy Derek King and just overall improvement coming off an 8-win season. I think the Miami people are thinking they've got a chance against Alabama. Then you've got Georgia, Clemson that we've talked about quite a bit. And then you've got LSU at UCLA. Both of these teams looking to bounce back from disappointing seasons. LSU, they feel like they've put last season behind them. Remember, going into last season, they lost like 37 players off that national championship team. So last year was sort of treading the water for them. And now they kind of feel whole again, and they know who their quarterback is. They have filled a number of holes through the portal. So I think they feel like they're going to have a bounce-back year. And UCLA, it's a key year out there for that coaching staff, and they just haven't delivered yet in a big way at UCLA. And then Ole Miss and Louisville. Looking forward to seeing that Ole Miss offense. I think they're going to score a bunch of points on Louisville, which has struggled on defense. Ole Miss is not a team you want to face with a weak defense, as we've seen. Matt Corral is exceptional at quarterback, and they play faster than anybody else in the SEC. I don't know if they've got the same quality receivers like they had last year. They lost their best receiver to the NFL. They had some really good receivers last year. But I look for Ole Miss to be wide open on offense and putting a lot of points on the board. The ACC looks like this for the weekend. We mentioned USF at NC State tonight, 7:30 on the ACC network. Tomorrow, Now, it's a great way to kick off the season. North Carolina at Virginia Tech, 6 o'clock on ESPN. In last year's game, remember that was a wild affair. North Carolina won that thing 56-45. Also Friday, you've got Duke at Charlotte and Old Dominion at Wake Forest. Why is the ACC so in love with playing on Friday night, besides the fact that the TV networks want them to play and they need to put games on their own network? I mean, I just hate Friday night games. Okay, Thursday night, we suck it up. We've gotten used to it, like this game here tonight. But Friday night should be for high school football. Why the ACC is falling in love with so many Friday night games is a mind bender to me. Except for the fact they're getting the money from the TV networks. Saturday, Colgate at Boston College and Miami, Alabama. UMass at Pitt. Syracuse playing at Ohio. Interesting that they would open on the road at Ohio. Of course, Clemson, Georgia. Northern Illinois at Georgia Tech. William & Mary at Virginia. And then Sunday, Notre Dame at Florida State. Let's see what Florida State's got in year 2 under Mike Norvell. Are they going to be much improved? Got a transfer quarterback in there starting for them, and we'll see what they're all about. And also Monday, of course, Louisville against Ole Miss. So that is the rundown for this weekend of college football around the SEC and the ACC. Should be a lot of fun to get the season opened up and off and running in a big way. Thanks to Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson for being with us. Boy, they just lay it out there. That's why I love having them on. I love when Ellis starts breaking it down, X's and O's, and Chuck just tells you how he really feels about what he is seeing and hearing. So that's what makes that segment so special. Chalk Talk every Thursday here on Sports Talk. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. If you want to join us on the program to talk about anything we've talked about tonight or look ahead to the weekend. You think the Gamecocks can cover the 43? Who do you like in the Clemson and Georgia game? What's going to be the key in that one for Clemson in particular? What's going to be the key there for the Tigers to win that game and get off to a 1-0 start? I know, Pat, that people are saying, hey, look, if Clemson loses that game, it's not going to be killer for their national championship hopes because they've got enough games they can win and still win the ACC and get back in the 4. But I don't think you want to play with fire like that and risk having to basically play from behind all season. They're not going to get a lot of credit for their wins because the schedule's so poor. Even outside the ACC, you're playing SC State, you're playing Connecticut, you're playing South Carolina, 3 teams that, have struggled. Well, not State, but S State's an FCS team. They were good last year, but they're FCS nonetheless. And then an ACC schedule that is not going to wow anybody. Maybe NC State is going to be better, but we've said that before, and Clemson's been able to handle them. They don't play North Carolina. They don't play Miami from the other side. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's if Georgia loses, Georgia has enough quality games on their schedule to win enough and win the SEC to get back in there. This is why I'm saying Clemson, maybe they're walking that tight wire here. If they lose this game, it could really be harmful to their postseason hopes.
Could not agree more with you there, Corn. There's not a single other ranked opponent at these current rankings, at least, on Clemson's schedule the rest of the season. Now, as you mentioned, NC State, they play them the 4th game of the year, September 25th. NC State may sneak in the back door of the top 25 before that game. Pittsburgh, there's a chance they come out and have a decent season, and when they meet in October, could be ranked. Other than that, I mean, Florida State, we can't really have that high of expectations for them this year. Louisville will be rebuilding once again. South Carolina rebuilding again. Now, they will, you would assume, play a ranked team in the ACC championship, which could hopefully catapult them if they have a loss back into the conversation to reach the playoff. But you're playing with fire. If they come out and lose this game, as we've seen the last couple of years, Coach Sweeney does a good job of making his team motivated. But at the same time, if you lose that first game and you're coming out and just beating your opponents by 40 every point every game the rest of the season, it may start to get a little tough to get motivated for those games, knowing that you already are you're on the outside looking into the college football playoff. So I'm with you. I think Clemson needs this game just as badly as Georgia does, if not more.
All right, we're underway here at Coastal Carolina. The Citadel had the ball first, and they moved the football. They had a 13-yard run by quarterback Jalen Adams. They did everything on the ground, as you might expect. But the drive petered out. They faced 3rd and 3 on their own 38, and Nathan Storch was thrown for a 1-yard loss by Jeffrey Gunter, the outstanding defensive end for Coastal. And then Matt Campbell, a 50-yard punt. Coastal Carolina took over at their own 25 after a 12-yard return. The punt carry to the 13 had a 12-yard return, and now Coastal has got the ball for the first time. And we'll see what the Chanticleers can do as we're underway in this one at Coastal Carolina. 888-898-2525, our number here on Sports Talk. Let's give you the recruiting report for tonight. It is brought to you by Seawells. And, of course, you know what tomorrow is at Seawells? It is Roast Beef Friday at Seawells. Wish I would be in town for that. Got to get over there next week for sure. Of course, it's 11 to 2 every day. Their daily luncheon buffet, 11 to 2, Monday through Friday. Every day is special, but in particular, I happen to like Roast Beef Friday. And for the very best in the catering business, that's the Sewell family and staff. They can handle all your planning and catering needs at their facility on Rosewood Drive, or they'll come to your venue. Just visit their website, SewellsCateringSC.com, for the menu options, or give them a call at 803-771-7385. Some basketball notes. Clemson made the top 7 with 6'6", Vin Allen Lubin of Orlando. The others are Florida, Auburn, Notre Dame, Alabama, Virginia Tech, and Georgia Tech. Lubin is rated a 3-star in the 24/7 Sports Composite and is ranked number 26 power forward nationally in the class. Meantime, another Clemson target, 6'6", Joshua Ola Joseph of Osseo, Minnesota, committed to Minnesota. 2023 6'4" point guard Braylon Blue of Madison, Wisconsin, plans to visit Clemson November 12th, according to Stock Risers. This summer, he visited Oral Roberts, Minnesota, Northwestern, Cal, Stanford, Santa Clara, and Pepperdine. USC offered 2023 6'5" Kome Imubor of Raleigh. He was at their elite camp earlier this month. Virginia Tech, Illinois, USF, and North Carolina A&T are other offers. 2023 6'8" Gregory Jackson of Ridgeview was offered by DePaul. South Carolina State's in the final 10 with 4-star 6'4" Chandler Jackson of Memphis. That's right, I said South Carolina State. The others on the list are Memphis, Kansas, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Florida State, Missouri, Texas, Ole Miss, Virginia Tech. Clemson target, 2023 wide receiver Nathaniel Joseph, is going to announce now on September 10th. He moved that announcement up a day from September 11th. Clemson, Florida, Florida State, and Texas A&M are the finalists. Dutch Fork receiver Antonio Williams was offered by Indiana. 2023 defensive back Brandon Cease of Lakewood was offered by Marshall. He also has Campbell and Akron offers. 2023 defensive end Xavier McLeod of Camden was offered by NC State. Catawba Ridge 2024 quarterback Jaden Davis will be at the Georgia-Clemson game Saturday. And 2023 infielder Andrew Edrington of Mason, Ohio, committed to Clemson. There you go with the recruiting report for tonight here on Sports Talk. Don't forget to check it out regularly on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. On Twitter, use the hashtag STRecruiting. All right, let's hit our break, and we'll come back to your phone calls. 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. We'll take some phone calls. We're wide open for your calls the rest of the way. So love to hear from you. Hear what's on your mind about this first weekend of college football. Who wins here tonight? Does Carolina cover? Does Clemson beat Georgia? And on we go on topics that you can kick around here going into the season opening weekend. We'll be back after the break.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Crown Jewel event big. Like 2 races for the price of 1 big. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and NASCAR Cup Series. 2 races, 1 epic Sunday. The playoffs begin at Darlington with the 72nd running of the Southern 500, September 4th through the 5th. Adult tickets start at $50, with kids starting at just $10. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. South Carolina is just right.
Founders is offering a low-rate mortgage with up to $4,000 in closing costs to full-time hospital employees, honoring your frontline efforts against COVID-19. With no PMI, no origination fee, and no limit on the loan amount, you can't go wrong. Visit founders.com/HEC and apply for your hospital employee choice mortgage today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply. Institution NMLS identifier number 410646. Founders is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by the NCUA.
If you are pregnant, DHEC and the CDC strongly recommend the COVID-19 vaccine. The dangers of the Delta variant, increased risk of severe illness and pregnancy complications are too great to ignore. Pregnant women with COVID-19 are at greater risk for hospitalization and for critical care, including ventilation and admission to the ICU. Pregnant women with COVID-19 are more likely to have major pregnancy complications. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator to find a vaccine near you to protect your unborn baby and yourself.
We've got Major Billy Downer with us here from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Hunting season is upon us. Major Downer, how do we stay safe?
Smitty, that's a great question. Mistaken for game is a leading cause of hunting accidents each year. So this year, DNR is encouraging everyone to wear hunter orange and use a flashlight when traveling to and from your hunting location in low light. Remember, be safe, be seen.
And remember, life's better outdoors. Visit dnr.sc.gov for more.
All right, Shane Beamer, of course, is having his call-in show tonight. Just checking some of the tweets from reporters listening. One jumps out at me, and that is that he is calling Doty doubtful for this Saturday. But according to Wes Mitchell of Gamecock Central, Beamer seemed more confident tonight that Doty will be 100% for week 2. Fully expects is how he words it there. Coastal Carolina has taken a 7-0 lead. The Chanticleers on their first possession marched right down the field 75 yards, and they had a 23-yard run by Braden Bennett. I believe he's the son of former Gamecock Brandon Bennett. Brandon Bennett over the top to break our hearts. I believe that's his son. And let's see, he also caught a 22-yard pass from Grayson McCall. Shamari Jones had a 28-yard run down to the 2, and then Shamari Jones cashed it in for the touchdown. So Citadel defense did not put up much of a fight on that first possession, and Coastal's up 7-0. And now the Citadel has the football once again, and their quarterback, Jalen Adams, running the option, just broke off an 18-yard run, and then they have another 10-yard run from a running back, Nakeem Njoku. So all of a sudden, in 2 plays, the Citadel is on Coastal's 44-yard line. And so they are moving the ball a little bit as well. So it's 7-0 Coastal leading over the Citadel. By the way, we're down here at the coast. That reminds me to remind you that when you want to come to the coast for a vacation, for an extended weekend, maybe to buy some property, whether it's a house or some dirt to build on, you want to call James Smith Realty, Jimmy Smith, at 843-237-4246, Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. Let me tell you, they can take care of you. I've seen it happen up close and personal, and I wouldn't recommend them if it weren't the fact that they will take care of you like family. That's what Jimmy does. He looks at everybody like a close friend, like family, and he is going to make sure that you get the best care possible from him and from his staff. So whatever it is you're looking for along the Grand Strand, not just talking Paulie's and Litchfield, I'm talking Myrtle Beach, Surfside, even down to Debadoo over into Georgetown. Give Jimmy Smith a call at James Smith Realty, 843-237-4246, or visit Paulie'sVacationRentals.com. All right, 888-898-2525 is our phone number. Let's go to Charles in Charleston with us here on Sports Talk. Hello, Charles. Welcome in.
Hey, Dr. Phil, how you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Really well, really well. I'll make this quick. Clemson's going to win at least by 10 points. Justin Ross is going to ball. This is his money year. This is the year he shows NFL scouts that he's healthy and he's just as good as he was as a freshman. I'm picking Alabama to lose to Miami of Florida. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
No, I'm telling you why. It's the first game of the season. They got to replace the quarterback, the running back, both receivers, some offensive linemen. I know they recruit well, but if anybody in their team is better than Devontae Smith or Najee Harris, let's just give it up and just give Alabama the trophy and forget about it. Just forget about it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm picking Minnesota.
Let me say this before you make your next prediction there. You're right. They lost a bunch of players, and they lost some really good players, especially at wide receiver. No question about it. But, Alabama always has players waiting in the wings who maybe aren't as good as the guys ahead of them at that time. But once they get their chance, they really shine. And they have a wide receiver by the last name of Mechie that they're really high on. John Mechie III. He's a Canadian, and he's played a little bit for them. But you also have to keep an eye on Ajay Hall, who is a freshman from Valrico, Florida, and he is extraordinarily fast. When I mean fast, I mean extraordinarily fast. So, yeah, they got some new guys. I wouldn't sleep on a single one of them because they can all play.
I know they can, Dr. Phil, but it's the first game of the season. And it's always good to catch these good teams early. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miami wins. And tonight I'm picking Minnesota over Ohio State. Minnesota, they're a good team, got a lot of players coming back, and they're playing at home. And like Alabama, Alabama, Ohio State got to replace Justin Fields and some other folks. So I'm telling you, I can't call in tomorrow because I know it's going to be crowded. A lot of folks want to call in, but I'm telling you, I'll call you back on Monday and say, well, Dr. Phil, I told you so.
Well, if you're right, you're right. I'm not going to argue with you about that.
No.
But that's really, going out on a limb. Again, you're looking at the idea that Ohio State is starting a new quarterback, but they've got their receivers back. They've recruited extremely well. They've got 5 stars dotted throughout their lineup offensively and defensively. They're a 14-point favorite over Minnesota. I know it's on the road. I will ride with the Buckeyes in this one. I don't think they're going to go down tonight, but you might be right.
Hey, guys, real quick, too, to jump in there, it is worth noting, I was going to bring this up next segment. Ohio State has announced they're now a half hour before kickoff. 3 of their starters are out. They have not disclosed the reason, but their starting center, one of their starting corners, and one of their starting defensive tackles are all unavailable tonight in their game against Minnesota. So that may change things at least slightly.
Yeah, probably COVID. When you hear something like that, don't you think it's probably COVID?
One would certainly think.
PJ Fleck, baby. PJ Fleck. He's going to do it. He's going to do it.
All right. You can call back tomorrow night. We'll find room for you. If you're right about that, you can come on and crow.
I will. Thank you, Dr. Phil. You guys take care. And
all right,
football
man.
is back, and I love it.
Yes, football is back, and we're glad to have it. All right, let me update the Citadel. They had that little drive going, and once again it stalled. This time they reached the 41-yard line before they had to punt. Make that they made it to the 41. They had a 4th and 7. They punted to the 9, and now Coastal Carolina's got the football, and McCall just completed a 25-yard pass to Hiley, and they're on the move once again. Looks like Coastal's really dialed in offensively and overmatching the Citadel with their offense. 103 yards already for Coastal to 61 for the Citadel. McCall's off to a 2 of 3 start for 50 yards. So probably going to have their way with the Citadel offensively. The Citadel's only hope is to have long sustained drives. Bulldogs have they have not attempted a pass yet. They've run 12 plays, all of them on the ground. And, their idea, I'm sure, is to hog the football, eat up clock, and shorten the game and try and limit the number of snaps that Coastal Carolina's offense can get. But you got to convert third and fourth down to do that. And you got to have extended drives to do that. And thus far, that hasn't been the case. All right, 888-898-2525. That's our phone number. And love to hear from you as we continue here in our final half hour of Sports Talk on this Thursday night from Coastal Carolina. We're here to watch some football after we sign off with you tonight. Back in Columbia tomorrow night for Founders Federal Football Friday. Lines are open, 888-898-2525. Back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We're clear and cool overnight with a low dipping to 62. Tomorrow, much like today, bright and sunny skies, low humidity, a high topping out at 85. For the game at Williams-Brice Saturday, few clouds, mild temps continue, a high of 86. And Sunday, we're a little warmer with a high of 89. No rain until maybe Monday or Tuesday. I'm Kevin Cohen with your On Point local weather.
Football is back. And this year, the Citadel is trying to be top dog.
Get in here! I got one thing to say. This is when the big dogs come out. Okay? You can't run with the big dogs. Stay on the board.
Touchdown, Bulldogs! Fire those cannons. The Bulldogs are back.
The Citadel Bulldogs, all season long on 100.7 The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Better weather is helping in the battle against a huge California wildfire threatening communities around Lake Tahoe, a place known the world over that was at risk of burning down. Thousands were forced to flee the largest city, South Lake Tahoe, earlier this week. Mayor Tamara Wallace says she now feels it's the most fortunate community in the world. The town is all but deserted on a weekend that normally would see as many as 100,000 people. But the forest is extremely dry and wind gusts are still likely in some areas as the fire heads towards Nevada. Fire crews from around the country have joined in the fight. A good day on Wall Street as the Dow is up by 131 points. The NASDAQ rose 21, the S&P advanced 12, and oil up $1.40 to $69.99 a barrel. This is SRN News.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on The Point, join me, Chad Jordan, and my co-host Larry Jordan for the Palmetto Real Estate Pros. We'll help you out whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just learn all things real estate every Friday right here at 100.7 The Point.
You ever notice there's a lot of foundation repair companies in the Midlands? Well, I asked my guys at TerraTech about this. Seems like 80% of the homes end up with foundation issues in the Midlands. It's just the soil around here. So how do you pick the right foundation company if you think you're having an issue? I always start by thinking local. I mean, think local always. Your home is your biggest financial investment. You want someone who's been here a while and isn't going anywhere for a while, and that's TerraTech. They're family-owned, they're AAA approved by the Better Business Bureau, and they are 100% local. They use the highest quality products, and they stand behind their work. And I'm not into scare tactics, no way. But goodness, this is your home. I mean, it's your castle. Walk around it. Take a look. If you see cracks in the foundation, just call TerraTech. They'll come out for free. No cost, no obligation. They'll tell you honestly if you have a problem or not. You can trust TerraTech to repair your home. You know I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Online, it's TerraTechInc.com or call them 791-8888. That's 791-8888 or online at TerraTechInc.com. SportsTalkSC.com.
Hi, this is Marsha Clayman.
And I'm Karen Pickard. We're your hosts for the Positive Point on Aging.
We'll talk about aging gracefully and senior care every Tuesday morning from 8:30 to 9 o'clock a.m.
Join us right here on The Point for the Positive Point on Aging.
Brought to you by Oakley Village of Lexington.
Hi, honey. Were you able to drop by Tree Pharmacy today to pick up Mom's medications?
Yes, she sure is on a lot of meds.
I know. That's why I go over so often to help make sure she's taking them correctly.
Well, I have great news. The pharmacist at True Pharmacy said he can pre-pack her medications into individual doses.
Wow. Knowing she's taking the right meds at the right time will give me great peace of mind. But how much does it cost?
That's the even better part. It's free. Just another great service they offer at True Pharmacy. True Pharmacy, 2 locations, Charleston Highway in West Columbia and Devine Street downtown.
Hello, fondue fans. It's Jay from the Melting Pot. Well, you don't have to be a fondue fan to be a fan of the Melting Pot, but it sure helps. By the way, who eats melted cheese when it's 106 degrees outside anyway? And thank you for eating melted cheese and warm chocolate, by the way. The reality is special occasions don't end when it's summertime. Birthdays, anniversaries, end of summer, back to school celebrations, you name it. We celebrate it with you. So come and see us at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard, the Melting Pot.
Yeah, I missed the first part of the caller's comments, Pat. You were telling me about it, but so he's saying Clemson would win by 10-plus points over Georgia. He thinks this is going to be a big year for Justin Ross, and he'll have a huge game. Well, I think that's entirely true. It's certainly the money year for Justin Ross. And Clemson winning by 10-plus, I've got him 21-14. That's 7. That's a touchdown difference. And I don't know. Ellis kind of indicated he thought there'd be more points scored than the 21-14 I laid out there. What do you think?
Well, a lot of that is going to depend on the status of Tyler Davis, as well as if any players might be affected from the positives over on the Georgia side. So I think until we see that final depth chart for the game, it's going to be hard to tell. But as it stands right now, if both teams come out healthy, and obviously we hope they both do, I'm still sticking with my guns that it's going to be low scoring. I'm thinking it's somewhere around 3 or 4 point game. 20-14 or 20-17 are kind of the 2 scores I've been bouncing around in my head. So I think personally it's going to come down to the end. My prediction, Kirby Smart goes for the win instead of the tie, and they get stopped on 4th down by Clemson, as we've seen them do a couple times in the past, and Clemson holds on to squeak out a winner. But I think it's going to be low scoring.
Okay. And you see it happening right down at the end of the ball game.
I do. I think it's going to come down to the last minute of the game. I absolutely do.
Yeah. Another recruiting note just ran across because a young man just tweeted this, but Clemson offered tonight 2023 defensive tackle Luke Montgomery, 6'5", 260, out of Findlay, Ohio. He's rated a 4-star. He's ranked the number 13 defensive lineman nationally in his class. So Clemson jumps in on him, and of course he's got a lot of other offers already nationally at this particular point. So another guy to watch for in the next class. He's got Alabama, he's got Auburn, he's got Ohio State, as you would imagine. Excuse me, a player of his magnitude apparently. Let's see what's happening over here at Coastal Carolina and the Citadel. It's still 7-0 as we go to the second quarter, and I'm hearing hearing some noise in the background. Maybe the Chanticleers have done something else. They dominated 162 yards in the first quarter, and they are driving once again.
Touchdown.
And I was just
stealing your thunder, Corn.
You know what you are? You are that color guy that just can't keep his mouth shut when the play-by-play man's about to make the call.
You said you heard a cheer. I'm letting you know what the cheer was. Reese White, 4-yard touchdown run right up the gut.
Yes. So it's 14-0 or soon to be 14-0 with the extra point coming up. 13-0 now. They make the extra point, be 14-0. So Coastal Carolina's got to be pleased with their execution offensively. 2 possessions and 2 long scoring drives to this point. Their opening drive, 5 plays, 75 yards. That was a quickie. This one, 10 plays, 91 yards, took about 6 minutes. So they got to be pleased. Jamie Chadwell certainly has to be pleased with what he is seeing thus far from his offense. 14-0, and this is the last thing the Citadel wanted to happen. Of course, they're not a throwing team whatsoever. Falling behind, trying to come from behind, that's not going to be their way to operate in this ball game. So tough situation the Bulldogs have put themselves in at this point. Phone number, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Yeah, Pat, you got a couple of quick notes about games tonight you want to share?
Oh, yeah. First, for anybody out there hoping to watch the Central Florida Boise State game, it was originally slated to kick off at 7. They have now had multiple lightning delays. The earliest we will see it kick off is 8:20 is what I'm seeing online. And then the second one regarding that Ohio State-Minnesota game tonight, for Clemson fans out there, you may remember the name Niles Pinckney, who was a grad transfer, is now one of the starting defensive tackles for Minnesota. So for Clemson fans out there looking for a game to tune into tonight, you can watch a former Tiger play against Ohio State.
As a matter of fact, Tim Beret, the legendary SID, now historian, I guess we could call him, for Clemson football, though he's also involved in the broadcast of the games as color analyst, one of them, he tweeted out today that 9 Clemson transfers are starting at 9 other FBS programs. So that tells you about the talent. Of course, you got Kendrick starting at Georgia. You got the corner starting at North Carolina. You just mentioned the one starting at Minnesota. They got one starting at Virginia Tech. I don't have the tweet in front of me, but that talent that Clemson has accrued over the years that left, not only did they find new homes, but they found starting jobs. Elsewhere, we've got Buffalo leading Wagner late in the first quarter, 14-0. Buffalo, a team that Coastal Carolina will see in a couple of weeks. Ball State, 7-0 on Western Illinois. Tulsa and UC Davis are scoreless. And East Carolina, Appalachian State, they're underway in Charlotte early in the first quarter. They are scoreless as well. South Florida, NC State, first quarter in Raleigh, they are scoreless. Weber State and Utah, early first quarter, they're scoreless. Coming up, you're going to have Bowling Green and Tennessee in Knoxville. Pat just told you about the delay in Boise State UCF. And we have got several other games coming up tonight, including Ohio State and Minnesota. UT Martin in Western Kentucky, and Eastern Washington at UNLV. We're so hungry for football. We'll talk about any game at this particular time. And of course, high school football tomorrow night. Again, we've had a week where there's been a lot of cancellations. You know, no question about it. That COVID has had a huge impact on things on the high school season, and we've got a bunch of cancellations tomorrow night. But you know what? We also have a lot of games to be played tomorrow night. And, of course, we'll have the high school scoreboard for you tomorrow night at 10:05. Founders Federal Credit Union high school football scoreboard. It's a Founders Federal Friday night here on Sports Talk. So make plans for that. Pat, Mike Jones is starting at LSU. That's another one.
And Chase Bryce starting tonight up in Charlotte for App State against East Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Chase finally found himself a place. Well, he started at Duke. You know, he was a starting quarterback at Duke. I don't know why he left to go to App. But, you know, there's all kinds of reasons these guys leave and go somewhere else. It could be, you know, playing time. It could be related to academics and not having the graduate studies that he needs, or just change of scenery, whatever the case may be. A lot of different reasons for that. But it's his third school now. You know, it's about time to settle down, don't you think? I guess it'll be his last school. His third and last stop will be at Appalachian State. And we'll see if he can succeed there where he wasn't able to at Clemson and at Duke. Of course, at Clemson, he was behind legendary quarterbacks for the most part. So, you know, he wasn't going to get that opportunity there. Maybe he'll be able to show his real skills. Of course, I mean, he had a chance to show them at Duke, but it didn't go all that well for him. So see how he can do it at Appalachian State. I want to go over some of the cancellations that we have here for tomorrow night. high school football. And a great place to go for that. If you are not subscribing, let me recommend once again scfootballstats.com. scfootballstats.com. They do a tremendous job of monitoring everything on the high school football schedule. They're doing the best they can, updating their schedule every day as more postponements or cancellations are announced, and then new matchups are formed as a result of cancellations. So looking at the cancellations as they stand tonight, according to scfootballstats.com. Of course, there's a game being played tonight where Shoals is playing at Dixie tonight, if you were interested. Only Thursday night game on the schedule. But the games that have been canceled so far for tomorrow night, Stratford and Ashley Ridge, Brooklyn Casey and Blythewood, Conway and Carolina Forest, Indian Land and Fort Mill, Sumter and Ridgeview, Gaffney and Rock Hill, Bluffton and Airport, Cane Bay and Colleton County, St. James, Myrtle Beach, West Brunswick and North Myrtle Beach, Woodmont, Walhalla, Lake City, West Florence, York and Westwood, Dillon and Wilson, Greensea, Floyd's and Aner, Broome and Belton Honeypath, Palmetto and Belton Honeypath, because apparently BHP tried to find another game, and that one got canceled as well. Chester and Brooklyn Casey's been canceled. Woodland, Hanahan, Kingstree, Lake City, South Columbus and Loris, Timberland and Manning. That one's been canceled. South Aiken and Barnwell, Swansea and Batesburg, Leesville, Wagner, Sally and Edisto, Broome and Liberty, Hemingway and Marion. Also canceled, Columbia and North Central, 96 Saluda, Aiken and Silver Bluff, Cross and Timberland. There's more, Chesterfield, Hannah-Pamplico, McBee and Latta, McCormick and Fox Creek, Timmonsville, Great Falls, Whale Branch and Aner, Allendale, Fairfax, and Whale Branch. That one, too, has been canceled. Blacksburg and Cherryville, North Carolina, and Socastee and St. James. Wow. That's a good portion of the schedule that has been canceled for tomorrow night. But we will have games. We'll have a lot of games, and we'll have some good games out there. So we look forward to bringing you the results of those games from across the state tomorrow night on the high school football scoreboard. Updating things here at Coastal Carolina as I take a look at things. It's 14-0. Coastal Carolina leading with 10:31 to go in the first half. And as far as what's been happening most recently, the Citadel had a drive that started at their own 14, and they got a first down. And then they came up short, 3rd and 10 at their own 26, 2-yard loss. So they had to punt once again, a 40-yard punt and a 6-yard return. So Coastal Carolina has the ball on its own 42, third possession of the game for the Shots. They're 2 for 2 scoring touchdowns with their possessions, and they're at their own 42 with 10:31 to go in the first half here in Conway. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. You want to jump in the final minutes of the program? We'll come back after the break, update what's happening in the final tournament of the PGA season, the Tour Championship event taking place in Atlanta. We'll update that. We'll update all the other college football scores of the night and check on some baseball as well in our final minutes tonight here on Sports Talk. We're back in a moment.
Life. It has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit PlayResponsiblySC.com.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
The future of golf is waiting for you at the Players Club. Rain, shine, or after dark, you can enjoy the game of golf anytime at Columbia's Indoor Country Club. The Players Club delivers the most realistic golf experience and offers more than 90 championship courses. Play or practice with the same state-of-the-art full-swing simulators used by Tiger Woods and Jordan Spieth. Visit MainCourseSC.com to book a bay and become a player today at the Players Club, part of the Main Course, 1626 Main Street in Columbia.
Hey folks, mortgage rates have dipped to their lowest levels in recent history, and with home values up in many areas, now may be the perfect time to refinance your home. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, free up cash for home improvements, or just pay off your home faster, a quick call to the one and only Stuart Wingo of Ameris Bank could save you money. If you're looking for competitive rates and exceptional service, call Stuart Wingo. 803-319-1777. That's 803-319-1777. You will save money just like I have so many times over the years. You can also visit him, amerisbank.com/Stuart Wingo. Stuart Wingo, the man with the plan for all your mortgage needs.
Well, make it 3 for 3 for Coastal, scoring touchdowns, 3 possessions, 3 scores. This one was a quick one, starting at their own 42. And on first down, McCall to Brown for 17 yards. Then on first down, McCall to Mobley for 15 yards to the Citadel 26. Then on first down, Sherman Jones, 10 yards to the Citadel 16. From there, Reese White, 16 yards. Touchdown. Didn't break in that time, Pat. Touchdown, Coastal Carolina. And the shots are up 20-0, awaiting the extra point try with 8:38 to go. They're doing pretty much anything they want, which I guess is no huge surprise. Maybe you kind of was hoping the Citadel would come out and make a little bit better showing and put up a little more competition, but to this point, it just hasn't happened statistically. Already Coastal with 224 total yards to 71 for the Bulldogs. Grayson McCall, 7 of 8, 125 yards. So he's just having his way with it and spreading the ball around. 5 different Coastal receivers have made catches already. So big start for Coastal and struggling start for the Citadel. Let's tell you what's happening at the Tour Championship event in Atlanta as they wrap things up, the FedEx Cup playoffs. And, this is a weighted event. The number one player going in starts at 10 under par. I don't know why they do this. I'm sure there's a reason. I'll ask George Bryan tomorrow night what the thinking is I guess they're rewarding the dude for playing well in the first 2 events, but that's just gimmicky golf there. Patrick Cantlay, who started the day at 10 under when he got out of bed, so he shoots a 3 under 67, so he's 13 under. John Rahm, he shoots a 65. This is what's weird. John Rahm shoots 65, but the leader shot a 67, but Rahm's in second place, 2 shots back. That's because he started at 6 under. So there you go. Harris English, a 66, and Bryson DeChambeau, a 69, but they're both 8 under with this weighted system. Victor Hovland, a 66, he's 7 under. Cameron Smith, a 68, he's 7 under. And Justin Thomas, a 67, but he is 7 under. This gives me a headache trying to figure this out. Who else? Dustin Johnson, he shot a 68, and he's 5 under. Roy McIlroy is 68, is 4 under. Colin Morikawa, a 70, is 3 under. Sergio, a 68, is 2 under. And Patrick Reed, a 72, puts him at +2. There's only 30 in the field for this final event, okay? It's kind of wacky, but that's how they're doing it. Major League Baseball tonight, Braves are going to be playing a game, opening a series at Colorado. They finally get out of Los Angeles, where they had some issues. Red Sox have taken a 2-0 lead on the Rays, bottom of the third. Marlins leading the Mets 2-1, bottom of the third. Earlier, Phillies beat the Nationals 7-6. Athletics held on to beat the Tigers 8-6. They led that game 8-1 at one point. And the Giants beat the Brewers 5-1. There you go with that. 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Let's welcome in our friend Sam from Charleston tonight. Sam, how are you, sir? Good to have you with us.
Thank you. How you guys been?
Hey, we're doing fine, Sam. We're doing fine.
Good. Hey, I have a quick question. I have a question for Shane Beamer's game on Saturday night. These might be questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the QB situation? And two is can Shane Beamer be his first career start?
Pat, help me out here because he's breaking up on my receiving end. I couldn't make out the question.
Yeah, he was just asking your thoughts on the quarterback situation going into this weekend, and also how you think Coach Shane Beamer will do in his first coaching game, first time coaching as a head coach.
Well, I think that Zeb Nolan is going to be fine. He's been around enough football at a high level to be able to handle the moment. They're not going to ask him to win the ball game. They're not going to ask him to win the Heisman Trophy Saturday night. They're going to ask him to get the play in, get them out of the huddle, get them lined up, get a clean snap, and get the ball where it's supposed to be. They're going to rely, I would imagine, pretty heavily on their running game, and they're going to use that bevy of running backs. I mean, I think Kevin Harris will play. I think Zaquandre White will get a number of runs. Juju McDowell, they really like him. I think he's going to get his opportunities. Who am I forgetting? There's another running back in the mix there. So, they've got their fair share of running backs. Oh, yeah. Marshawn Lloyd. He's going to probably get a lot of work.
Oh, yeah,
because
that
he
guy.
needs the work. Yeah. He needs the work. He's probably going to get a lot of work. So, they'll do some in the passing game, I would think, but they shouldn't have to rely on that. And how do I think Beamer's going to do? I don't think you can measure his success this year with his record. Certainly, you don't want to see another 2 or 3 win season. I certainly believe they'll win more than 3, which is the over-under from Vegas. I do think they can get to 5 wins. Getting to 6 will be difficult, but I think they can get to 5. That means, of course, winning tomorrow, going to East Carolina, which if you heard Chuck Reedy, of course, Chuck says that's just a stupid game for South Carolina to play. But I guess that was scheduled years ago as a return game for East Carolina playing multiple games in Columbia. That's how that works. You come and play like 3 times here, we'll go 1 time to your place. But he's right. That is a trap game for South Carolina because East Carolina should be better, and that's a tough place to play. And if East Carolina beats Appalachian State tonight in Charlotte, and gets their confidence going and gets some positive mojo, that place will be wild for the Gamecocks coming in there. And East Carolina has taken a 6-0 lead on App State in the first quarter. So they're off to a good start there. That is a trap game. South Carolina needs to play well, not get anybody hurt, get Luke Doty healthy, and have their full offense ready to go when they go up to Greenville, North Carolina. But again, Shane Beamer's doing a lot of great things, culture building and recruiting. That's where it's got to start. He keeps that going in the right direction. He keeps recruiting like he's recruiting. He keeps culture building like he's developing. The wins will come. The wins will eventually come. You're just going to have to be patient. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the phone call. 21-0 here, and Buffalo leading Wagner 21-0, and Ball State over Western Illinois, Pat, 7-0. And Davis, UC Davis, taking a 7-0 lead on Tulsa.
Wow, yeah. And up in Charlotte at the Dukes Mayo Classic, East Carolina, as you mentioned, has jumped out to a 6-0 lead. Chase Bryce has struggled a little bit out of the gate, but he's leading them on a drive right now where So far, there's 6 plays and 32 yards in. But East Carolina, remember, we've talked about Mike Houston. We had him on the show, their head coach. He has a propensity in his background to have some pretty explosive plays. And their first touchdown came on a 63-yard touchdown pass. It was actually a short pass to one of their speedy running backs, which they have 2 of, and he took it 63 yards to the house. They then missed the extra point. So, again, that is just – they will not be an easy foe next week.
No. South Carolina needs to take care of business with relative ease against Eastern Illinois. They can't let these guys hang around. They got to put them away. And, by the way, NC State's out to a 7-0 lead on South Florida. They got to put them away, get as many players in as possible, get some experience going, have a positive feeling, and then have a good week of practice next week and get Luke Doty healthy. But I am interested in seeing what Norland can do, because he had a near 400-yard passing game when he was at Iowa State against Oklahoma. That tells me he can do something with his arm. Okay, thank you, Pat. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. Back in Columbia tomorrow night for Founders Federal Football Friday. Have yourselves a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.